Hello and welcome to another episode of the Blue Abroad Show. Monday night, a little bit of a later start this evening. We are brought to you by Assertive Media. We've got a big show on the cards. AFLW recap, AFL round 1 recap, and then it's Carlton Collingwood. It's time to talk the Pies. Let's get into it. Roll that intro, Shad, and shall we begin?
What's going on? Fucking today!
Martin's been very impressive every single time.
Thanks to all the Carlton supporters, thank you for all the love.
Mason's playing Glasgow, and there's a magic moment. All inside 50, control! He strikes it beautifully. He's got it.
And here we are. End of round 1, start of round 2. Blue Abroad Show. I've got the OG back in the studio with me. Dan, great to have you back, my friend.
Oh, it's great to be back as well on Collingwood Eve, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like the week, my favourite week of the year.
Yeah, I couldn't have anybody else beside me for a Collingwood preview than you, because been some shade thrown already between us and the Collingwood folk. The banter has begun. To be fair, I did start it, but I'm going to need you to back me up on this one.
Yeah, I saw you got abused by a guy who looks like he's looking at his own reflection in the back of a dessert spoon. So, I mean, that was quite amusing. I mean, they come out of the woodwork though, don't they? So it's time to put them back in the box.
That they do. A lot to get through. So let's without further ado, let's begin. We want to first of all thank a few people. Before we do that, we've just had a donation. Black Carrot, as he does all the time, $23 donation on YouTube. Thank you very much to Black Carrot. And also thank you to our members, our paid members on our YouTube channel. I also have an apology to make from the fan cams. We had some people on Facebook who sent some stars. Now, unfortunately, I wasn't looking at the Facebook tab. I usually have StreamYard open, so I didn't see that the stars were coming. But I have Facebook open tonight, so if you do end up sending some, I will make sure to give you a shout out. But yeah, thank you to our paid members. Thank you to our new sponsor, Player, our granola sponsor. Did you see that?
Player
granola.
I like that. It reminds me of was it Booker T?
It was.
It was.
Yeah. Look, let's begin. Let's begin. Let's start off because we've got a big show. Let's start off with the AFLW, because low key, I know that we're all excited about the men's season being back, but the women had a phenomenal win and put themselves right back in contention for a potential final spot.
Yeah, I mean, You've got to win big. That's what we said in the preview on Jump and Punch. Those who missed it said they had to win big. We were hoping to usurp either Melbourne or the Doggies. It's now come down to North. So, I mean, they've got to do the same again. They've got to dust themselves down and get another big win against GWS. GWS also in the same predicament as Carlton. Need a big win and hope North lose by a considerable amount. But Darcy Vesio, 40 goals, first female to do that in the AFLW.
Yeah.
Absolutely sensational.
Massive congratulations to Darcy. Yeah, I felt like the first few seasons of the AFLW, she was really good in terms of her standing in the comp, and then I think she might have had a season and a half where she was a little down on form, and it sort of looked. I didn't know what to make of her form, if it was something temporary, but this season, no question, she's jolted right back up there.
Yeah, there was a few media questions at the start of the year because she had a slow start this year as well. There was a few people even questioning should she be in the side and someone come in for her. But I mean, there's no substitute for class. You can't change that. And like form is temporary, class is permanent. 5 goals won. I mean, the mark of the female as well is that she could have set the record for the most goals kicked in a game, but she handed off 2. So I mean, it just shows what Vesio's about. She's a team player. You know, the handball she's looking to give before to take herself. And she's a class apart. And we use the phrase #game changer, I think, a little bit too much. She is genuinely a game changer. She's a role model for young boys and young girls out there. I mean, she reads the ball. She does everything a small forward needs to. Phenomenal athlete, phenomenal talent.
So with them, is it a case of the pressure's off, finals was, out of the equation, and therefore they've been able to, play with freedom? Or do we take much from the game? Because I saw a lot more running carry. And I know Brooke Walker was in the side and she does promote that with a lot of what she does, but I didn't know what to make of the performance.
I think a little bit we count on this year is the conference system being scrapped. Definitely affected us because you get a bit of a tougher run than we were accustomed to. Last year, it was kind of a little bit easier. You do play traditionally the weaker teams. I do think, though, Brooke Walker, she's a phenomenal athlete. She's one of them players, a bit like Adam Sard for the men. She forces you to play quick because her natural skill set is go, 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 which you saw with most teams who play like that. It encourages it. But I think they're doing what they need to, and that was an impressive performance, and it would be quite a story if the stars align and the girls get it done. It's a long shot, but if they do it, I wouldn't want to play these girls in the final game.
Yeah. So the equation, long story short, is North need to lose by 4 to 5 goals, and we need to win by 4 to 5 goals.
Yeah, the percentage is about 22%, so it's quite a lot. So Carlton need to do what they did last week, and we need to hope that North have a bit of a bad time at Fremantle, which is very likely because Fremantle match up fantastically with North. Gemma Houghton is an absolute superstar, and she should enjoy her night out. So I think Fremantle want to put on a statement with the final side anyway.
Yeah.
So chances are it's there. I've seen weirder things.
Yeah. I mean, look, I myself have enjoyed the AFLW season this year. I've learned another layer about the players. Next year we'll go another layer as well. I think I've gotten out of the season what I hoped to, and that's just more understanding of who they are and also getting to go there and getting back to Icon Park. So, yeah, fingers crossed we can create another chance for ourselves and see what happens.
I mean, it's the biggest story is the scoring, isn't it? 80 points. I mean, that's one of the criticisms of the AFLW. Just shows these girls have got it in them, and the scoring is a lot higher this year. So that their improvement is dramatic across the board.
Yeah.
It is a phenomenal leap.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely is. Well, let's move on because we've got a lot more to get through. We've got to go and talk about last Thursday night. We're never satisfied with a loss ever, but I think there was a bit more than just the game at play. It was the return to footy. Even if you watched it at home, it was the return of the crowds and the energy in the stadium. It was a very special evening.
It was beautiful. I mean, I think my favorite thing was hearing ball being shouted again, and the boos when the decision goes against your team. I mean, there was something last year about the canned fake noise that made it quite hard, I thought, to watch the game when you weren't there. But it was great to have everyone back. Not the result we wanted. I mean, I've had a few PMs because my fan cam, it was probably the most depressive fan cam I've ever done.
On your bed, hello darkness, my old friend type energy from you, mate.
I was already in my pajamas.
Lakers shorts on.
I was already in my pajamas, ready for bed. I still haven't fully recovered, I've got to say, but quick turnaround, I've got to recover. But yeah, I mean, it was a game of what ifs, wasn't it? It was a very impressive performance in large parts. Heartbreaking to see Richmond pull away with it in the end, but that's funny, isn't it? It just shows you there's levels to this.
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask everyone at home if you could just write a quick, short summary of what you took away from the game. We spoke a little bit about Will Set. Let's talk on Will Setterfield for a moment. We spoke about him playing in that quadrant. It didn't seem like he played that role that he was groomed to play throughout the preseason. What were some of the surprises that you thought you were going to see, but you didn't?
Dimmer, particularly his tactical awareness. If you watch the first quarter, Jaden Short was in a little bit of strife in that quadrant, and then he moved a little bit into the back pocket and started to free himself up. We talked about that transition. Richmond are very good. I think my biggest takeout of this game is we need to learn to work smarter, not harder. We worked very hard for each individual point, and Richmond didn't have to. That's the problem at the moment with Carlton. We haven't got quite that. Tackle pressure in the middle was really good, though. 32 of their inside 50s were nothing inside 50, is what we call long bombs, which shows our midfield pressure was schmick, and that beat sides because Richmond did a Carlton, just bombed it in. But forward pressure was my issue. 2 tackles. It's the lowest under Teague since Melbourne 2019.
2 tackles in the forward 50?
In the forward 50. We know that's what he defined his team on.
Yeah.
There was a lot of tackles on the outside of 50, but the thing with Richmond, you've got to peg them back. And if they get the ball in that half forward, past there, your half forward line, things happen. And we saw that towards the end. The boys ran out of steam. Full credit to Richmond, though. They are a class apart.
Of course.
Class apart.
It was fascinating watching it again. After watching it the first time at the stadium and then the second time watching it on TV, we were in the game. 5 minutes and 7 seconds to go is when that little slip up with Docky fumbles, Jake Arts sidestep goal, and then we sort of drop our heads, which was disappointing. But we were right there. There was, and I said this in my review as well, there was a different feel to it from last year. It wasn't 36 points down, pegging it back. Oh, if we can bring it to within 3 goals before halftime, we're a shot. It was, no, we're in the contest.
I've been quite disappointed with the reaction from the fan base because that is the first time, and I spoke to a member of the Richmond cheer squad after the game. He actually reached out to me because he saw me commenting on a live stream, and he said it's the first time he can remember in the last 5 years Richmond have had to try. He was saying last year he felt like Richmond were toying with us a little bit and then got us. But I think the credit to Carlton is we came back in that game 3 or 4 times. Not many teams, and we saw it over the week, have the sustainability to keep raising the game. We kept getting close and they just had that other level. That's something that is a learned skill. And you saw it in the last 5 minutes. Look in the eyes of the players. Carlton's players, I think, had a mindset of, can we do it again?
Yeah.
Where Richmond's was stick to the plan and we win.
Yeah.
And I was impressed that the boys stuck to Teague's game plan for 90% of the game. And when it switched off, 4 or 5 goals swung to their way. But moment of genius from Dustin Martin. I mean, it's tough, but they need to have learned from this. You've got another club coming up who I hate with my entire heart, and everyone with Carlton does. And they are a Mickey Mouse version of Richmond Football Club. They can't do that. So if they play like they did against Richmond, home and hose.
Yeah. I can't remember who said it after the game, but they said if we play like we did against Richmond all season, we'll win more games than what we lose. And I do agree with that. But just because you played well in round 1 doesn't mean you're going to play well in round 11 or whenever. So there's one thing there. But there was a comment here from Wildy who asked the question about, are we fit? Did we run the game out well? Do you believe that we ran the game out well?
100%. I said it, previews tomorrow, Jumper Bunch. You'll hear my in-depth views on that because me and Rocco had an argument about this.
Yep.
But Richmond ran us ragged. We had to work very hard. I think people forget the class of Richmond and their game plan stretches teams. It tires teams out. We worked incredibly hard, a lot harder than you would normally have to. There was no rest periods. We haven't learned to control the footy yet. When the pressure is on, we haven't learned it. It's still very level 5 all the time, I think, Carlton. We need to learn a level 3. I thought we ran the game out considering that Richmond had to work incredibly hard. This will be the first time you saw Richmond were haggard at the end of the game. Like they're singing the Tigerland. It was out of breath half of them. They will run hard. Yeah. And it was the first time I've heard Richmond and Dimmer. Dimmer said it himself. He had to make tactical changes. When's Dimmer had to do that? Usually Dimmer just goes, 22 boys, it's Carlton.
Yeah. I definitely got that sentiment from the Richmond fans after the game. As I was walking out of the stadium, there was just a few conversations along the walk, and a lot of them were saying, gee, you guys play like us. You know, we have the same principles, different makeup, different personnel, but we're adopting a Richmond game style.
You got to remember St Kilda last year against North did exactly what we did, came out of the blocks firing and ended up running out of legs. Something St Kilda learned in that 3-month COVID break was how to control the footing. You watch them now, they can play fast, but they can take a little bit off the clock when they have the momentum. And that's something that the boys have to learn. But not a great start, obviously 0-1, but a good enough start to see that this system can hurt the best in the league.
Yeah, true. Let me get through some comments here. This one's from Riley. We lost the territory battle and it cost us dearly. We need to win the territory battle this Thursday. As if we let Collingwood win it, they will strangle, pin us deep and try smother us out of the game. They are the most boring side in the AFL by a mile. People want to go straight to Collingwood.
I'm with you. I can't stand the mugs.
Disposals inside 50s still kill us. Poor decisions at times. I think we were better at entries inside 50, but still some way to go.
There's always going to be room for improvement. There is always going to be room for improvement. You've got to remember, though, that I think the issue is H. It's very obvious sometimes where that ball's come in. Noah Bolter, he knew that ball was coming to Harry all day long. And when you don't have that second and third plan, you can see it. You can see this midfield's never played with a small forward line. You can see it because they still don't know. Like when you watch St Kilda, I watched them in the GWS game, and the fact that they can switch it and kick to a small instead of a tall. And then Membry's kind of like, is he leading for the mark or is he leading as a dummy? Once that starts to ingrain in the system, I'm excited about where it'll be.
Okay. Let's move on to the votes. So what we'll do is we're going to ask you, Pom, and everyone in the audience for a 3, a 2, and a 1. Have it in your mind. Before you give us your votes, we're going to go to a notable player. So someone that's not in your best 3, but deserves a bit of a word. I'll start with you, Pom. Who's your notable player of the game? And you guys at home, who's your notable player of the game and why?
My notable player this week.
Put you on the spot. Did not plan for this.
I was going to
pre-show.
say, you didn't tell me that. I've got no prep for this one. I've got to make it up. I'm going to give it to young Michael Gibbons.
Okay.
Probably not in Carlton's thoughts prior to this game. Came in, you'd suspect, from injuries and stuff, but did what the VFL's there for, dominated in VFL, carried over that form. I like Gibbons' work, 15 touches, 2 goals. He seems our most dangerous small forward across half forward. When you watch him, he seems to just have something. I don't know what that thing is, but whatever that thing I'm trying to describe, he's got it in abundance. And I like that because that's what this VFL needs to be for. You go there, you hone your craft, you knock on the door, and you take your opportunity. And I would say now Gibbons is locked in to round 2.
Absolutely. The guy, I feel like I've said this so many times. My brother-in-law, if he's watching, he will love it. 2-time JJ Liston Trophy winner as a midfielder.
I don't dare
Smart
say it.
footballer, footy IQ, has played in many big games, has performed on big stages. He's won medals on grand final days. Yes, it's the VFL. The guy is ready to play at this level.
He's got 40 IQ, and I don't dare say it in front of you because you always find a witty response, but they don't hand out JJ Liston medals. I'm waiting for someone in the comments to find one. But no, I mean, he's a class apart. He's got a little thing. I mean, controversial opinion to say this in front of you, but I would say the Mark Murphy role that Teague wants Murphy to play should be Gibbons' role.
Give me another month. Let's just see a month of football before we drop Murph. But no, I do agree. I do understand the sentiment of that smaller bodied midfielder who can accumulate. I do feel like there is going to come a time where it's Murph or Gibbons. I can't say I disagree with that. I don't think we can say that yet after one game. Let's just have a couple of weeks to see how the season's playing out.
And mass wholesale changes. We lost.
Oh, mate. Yeah, I know. We lost round 1. We've got to drop 6 of them.
You know what it's like.
Yeah. No, I get what you're saying. I'm just happy that he was in the side. And I still personally view him as someone who's in our best 22.
Definitely. And I think it shows the model of the man, doesn't it? He went to VFL, probably would have been disappointed with that because everyone wanted Gibbons in them practice games, and he tears it up. I mean, this guy's going to be like a Hollywood story, isn't it, really? Like, forgotten about, got his chance, and he takes his chance. He needs 80s music when he runs out.
He does.
Love Gibbons.
Well, Heath Buck was talking about it last week on the show when we were live, that at the same point in their AFL experience, Gibbons is right there or just a little bit ahead of where Kane Lambert was in his first few years. And I'd love a Kane Lambert type player. I mean, we've got him. It's Michael Gibbons.
I love Gibbons. I think he just personifies to me what I want from a team.
Yeah.
It's hard work, endeavour, grit. Nothing's too hard.
Okay.
I love it. Love Gibbons. Good work, mate.
My notable player is I didn't put him in my 3, so I've gone with Lockie Fogarty. He's my notable, and because I didn't watch him play any games last year for Geelong, I haven't watched him play at all, and I just based my opinion on what other people were talking about. But I loved he didn't look out of place physically, and Richmond is the benchmark for if you want to see if you can stack up physically against a good side or great side, and what I love about Fogarty is his first instinct when he gets the ball is not to blaze away. And I said this in the review as well. I just hope he doesn't learn the Carlton blaze away mentality. I liked his composure and I liked what he's about.
I think one thing with Fog as well is if you look at the modern day taggers, like your Matt DeBoers in the league, Jack Graham went and did a job on Cripper in the 3rd where Cripper was down on numbers, is the modern day tagger stops you, puts pressure on you and accumulates the ball himself. And I see a lot of Fog. I know Geelong trialed that, make him a tagger playing on the ball and a stopper. You see that with him. He's got an uncanny ability to put pressure on you, make you make a mistake and then feed on that mistake himself. It's kind of like that parasitic ant. You know, that he puts all the pressure on you and makes you work for him.
Yep.
And I love his intent and his endeavour. They're the kind of players that I've forgotten about that win you football matches that Richmond have a lot of.
Job doers.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Job doers.
That you, like I always say about Camden McIntosh, he never impresses me. Then I look at his numbers at the end of the game and go, Jesus, he's had a good game.
Well, I mean, that's the one thing. I think we've got caught up in the draft picks with our group, the way I see it, and we don't have enough job doers. I think Pitternet, Gibbons, Noons, Fogarty. We have a nice little group of guys that just come in and play a role. Now, I think that is important for a premiership side, and Richmond are that benchmark. That's what you compare yourself to.
Oh, I think if you look at Richmond as well, to me, they built the list the same as St Kilda. They've built a list where they haven't got a team of superstars. It's a superstar team.
Gotcha.
When they're together, they go up a level. And I think, I genuinely think, not getting my blue glasses on, there is enough to show.
How can you not have your blue glasses on?
Oh,
mate?
come on, it's me.
Come on, mate.
Like honestly, this side is going somewhere. We just need to stick with it.
Yeah.
And you and me had this conversation before the season started. We thought round 2 was the click, so we're going to see if we're right. I think this is the click.
We will. Let me get through some of your votes from the game. Your 3, your 2, and your 1. Troy says 3 for Walsh, 2 for Sard, 1 for Noons. Notable Fogarty. Love that.
I love that.
Love that. I don't know who this is. It just says Facebook user. It's a private account, but
you've got to use the things.
3 for Walsh, 2 for Noons, 1 for Cripper.
Yeah.
I've got Gabriel, 3 for Walsh, 2 to Sard, 1 to Cripps. Let's talk about Sard. We might as well.
What
did you make? Yeah,
I'm glad people put him in his votes because he's in my votes. Sneak peek.
What did you make of his?
Worried he wasn't as good as I thought he was.
You got that validation.
I thought I got carried away. Second quarter as well.
Yeah.
That guy, man. The way to beat Richmond, and we're going to talk about it with Collingwood as well. They're very structural based, and his takeoff, man.
Yeah.
I'll never get sick of hearing babies cry because I love that. It's a beautiful sound. And seeing Sard run out of defensive 50.
Yeah.
It's the best. I haven't seen that since Yaron.
Yeah.
And he was my favourite.
It's almost a cheeky, come on, I'm going to give you a little bit of room to make you think you're going to catch me.
Yeah,
then I'm going to turn on the jets.
way he runs, it's like he kind of ambles his first 2 steps and you're kind of thinking, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And then it's suddenly like, boom.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, see ya.
Yeah.
I love it. I like everything Sard is about.
Yeah.
I love. Like,
to be honest, he should have been at Carlton the whole time.
He's
should never have
becoming my
gone to
favourite
Essendon.
player. Like, all I've talked about all week to my wife is Sard, Adam Sard. Can we change David's name to Adam?
Yeah.
Like, I'm in love. I'm in love with. If I had testosterone and I could grow a beard, be all over it.
Love it. So who were your votes? Who were your votes in the end?
Mine were 3 votes, Sam Walsh.
Yes.
2 votes, Patrick Cripps. How good is it to have big Cripps back?
Yeah.
Not the Mickey Mouse Cripps last week.
Yeah.
Big
yeah.
Cripps.
Big
I like
Cripps.
big Cripps.
Big bustling Cripps. Intimidating Cripps.
Yeah. I loved him laughing at Dustin as well when Dustin's giving him it and he's got that big grin on his face as if what you're going to do. And 1 vote to my new favourite, Adam Sard. You're probably going to get 1 vote just for being Adam Sard for the rest of the year, sir.
Is he going to take over Jack Martin as your boy? Because I feel like you were really into Jack Martin last year, and
I've got a lot of favourites now. Like I'm just falling in love. Hopeless.
You got 11 children.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
You can't pick your favourite.
Yeah, Adam Sard. I'm loving. It's the excitement factor. I love what I call bums off seats footballers, and Adam Sard just makes me believe something's going to happen every time he's near the ball. Like even when he's outside 50, and I know the guy's kicked like 7 career goals. Just feel it's going to happen. I feel like it's going to be a big drop, 60-metre punt. Love him. Love Sard.
Yeah, I want to. Who was your 1? Sorry,
1 was Sard.
1 was Sard. Okay, yeah, I went Walsh for 3. I gave Jack Noons the love for the 2, and I gave Cripps the 1 only because he faded a little bit towards the end of the game, and I just wanted him to lift. Walsh. You would have been proud of me last week. Made a big call.
Yeah, I heard it. I was
Walsh genuinely reminded me of Chris Judd on Thursday night. Because Chris Judd was never the biggest guy, but he was one of the strongest. And Walsh's ability to stand up through tackles and still have that pace to get some space for himself. We're seeing a special kid.
It's when you said he was the Brownlow medalist, and people think that's a big call. the Brownlow medal never goes to the best player in the comp. It's a Mickey Mouse voting system. You got to remember the umpires vote it, so it can't really be taken that serious. Because I mean, they don't know the difference between walking and laughing like Nankervis did, deliberate, and actually running through because you're about to be nailed. So I mean, let's not take the vote serious. But Sam Walsh, he's got the game for a Brownlow. Touches. He also snags, tackles. He's fair as well. What I love about him as well, you watch his tackles, they're fair. He nails it. I love Sam Walsh. He is. I see the Judd comparison because he could find space in a crowded elevator.
Yeah.
Don't I?
Yeah. Special kid, special player. I just hope that I think Wildy said this right here. He's a great example of training and working hard. And he just has that look in his eye. He really does.
Sometimes I like to go through, like the screenshots around that draft time when people said we should trade pick one.
Yep.
Just imagine if we traded pick one. Imagine the scene.
God.
How good is Sam Walsh, though?
Oh
legit. I love Sammy.
I want to turn the attention for the game just to other notable things throughout the game that you saw that you either liked or you didn't like. I've got one that I didn't like. So fourth quarter, it was in that last 5 minutes, Shai Bolton kicks a goal and rubs Sam Doherty's head. Completely disrespectful. Whatever. You can either say, oh, well, when you're the champs and when you win, you can do what you want. Or the other end of the spectrum is, where's the professionalism? That I didn't like. I love that we had one player that actually came to fly the flag for his captain, and that was Lockie O'Brien.
Yeah, got stuck into Nankervis.
Getting stuck into Nankervis. Where was the rest of the team? And why don't we have that in our group anymore?
I don't know. I felt I agree with you because my notable is on the same tangent. I enjoyed Dowell's goal.
Yeah.
And Fisher ran up to him to give him a hug and he pushes him away and goes, effing come on.
Yeah.
Effing come on. I felt the fire.
Yeah.
And I think there needs to be a bit more fire in some of them players. I enjoyed Doc going back and trying to remonstrate with him. But I will say this, a lot of Richmond fans have texted me and given me the speech you did because you've obviously heard it. We're champions. All champions are arrogant. Muhammad Ali was arrogant because he was likable. Richmond are a bunch of twats, man.
Yeah.
So don't do that because no one likes you.
It's just fuel to the fire.
He's not even that good, Bolton.
I've got a little notebook in my back pocket. I've got Shane Edwards' name in there.
Yeah, I've got Bolton's name.
I'm not going to ever forget Shane Edwards' name in there. And I've got Bolton. But look, there is also the fact of beat him. Be better.
Well, you see, I said it to Richmond fans. We'll see you in finals and we'll knock you out then. I mean, that's when it counts. So, I mean, hopefully the boys have got their notebooks out and seen where they went wrong. Bad decision-making at key points in the game just because of experience and probably a lack of belief in the system at times. They know the blueprint now on how to beat Richmond because they were close. They were 95% there. 5% wasn't there.
Yep.
It's about adjusting that 5%, train hard. And I would say train to beat Richmond every game.
Every game.
That should be the mindset because until they're not champions, that's who you've got to knock off.
Yeah. I'm very grateful to be able to play them first up. All the preseason work you've put in, you know exactly where it's getting you and where it's gotten you. And you have 21 rounds to either rectify it or then believe that what you have got going on is working.
Yeah. And, finals is the aim. And historically, 5 teams in the history of the AFL have started 0-2 and made finals. So, next week is important because if you go 0-2, history says that you don't make finals.
Really keen to get into Collingwood preview.
I just want to get into them. I hate them. They're probably in the chat now. You know what I mean?
One thing there's two more things I want to mention. Number one, I want to give Lockie Plowman a mention. And his goal and his game and his interceptability and his leadership on the field. I thought he was outstanding. And I just think that we need to get around him and just remind people that he played well because I feel like he gets overlooked. And I want to ask you one question and you one question at home. What's the one thing we need to take away from the Richmond game that needs to be improved on for Collingwood? If you had to pick one thing.
Forward pressure starts in your forward line.
Okay.
And I think that's why we fatigued because the midfield had to work so hard.
Yeah, due to our forwards not locking it in.
Yeah, I think that's how you have a rest nowadays. Look at West Coast; they rest that way.
Yep. No, fair enough. That's totally fair enough. Christian Chapcoon, Kuda says, spot on about Bolton. Further proof that we still have no respect and won't get that until we walk the walk. That's fair enough. Why do I like, says grand final beat Richmond by 50. That's the formula. We've got a question here, a comment here. Centre clearances for me. Williams will help with that. Helena says finish games. Grit. Wildy again here says slow the ball down. Yeah, how did you think we balanced our quick ball movement with our slow ball movement?
You can see the attempt to do it, but they don't do it
Yeah.
enough for me. We seem to attempt to control the footy when the momentum is going against us, where you watch West Coast displayed it brilliantly at the weekend, that they somehow choose it towards the end of when the rub of the green's going their way and kind of preempt you coming at them and breathe that way. But like for me, it's a combination of slowing the ball down, exactly like Wildy says, and also stopping teams in their forward half a lot quicker, creating them stoppages to get the back line to breathe, because the midfield pressure was elite. Hence all the inside 50s that were bombed in by Richmond. Nearly there. It's not far away.
Nearly there. Okay. It's time.
I can't wait.
It's time to start talking about round 2. Let's forget about round 1. We're not sweeping it under the carpet, but we've spoken about it at length. It's absolutely time to start talking about Collingwood. Where do we begin?
Well, I think that start. 5 teams have made the finals, 0 and 2. So this is effectively a chance to piss Collingwood's season up, because history is against them. And it wouldn't make... I mean, would I be sad? I mean, they use Adam Treloar as the poster boy of depression and then dog him and boo him.
And then boo him. They booed the guy that they shafted. Can we stop and think about that for a moment?
Yeah, do you remember Buckley crying because Essendon fans booed Pendlebury in the Anzac game? And he was like, oh, don't boo him, he's a champion.
Those who booed a champion, shame on those who booed a champion.
Yeah, shame on Collingwood. I hope to Christ we smash them mugs.
Yeah.
I'm sick of them. Getting up and about because Oliver Henry had 12 touches. Oh, we nailed the draft.
Yeah.
Screw off.
I want to ask a question to the audience. If you could write a comment with one of your favorite Carlton Collingwood memories, whether it's as a child or an adult, whatever. Like, why do you hate Collingwood so much? What is it about Collingwood? I spoke about it this afternoon. Sorry. It's just, I feel like we can now start poking a little bit. They're not that invincible team that obviously they once were in the early part of the 2010 in that era, and they've started. They've choked in the grand final. The banter's there. We just need to do it. We're there, but we need to do it, and then it's on for young and old. The rivalry is back up and running.
Spot on. I mean, this is a huge game for the Blues. Huge game in lots of ways. It rights the wrongs of round 1. It takes Melbourne back to us. It takes the wood off Collingwood, gives us the hope and the belief. And if you want to make the 8, statistically, you've got to beat a team that's in the 8. Collingwood are many people's teams to slide. So for us to put our hands up, we have to beat this side, definitely, because 0 and 2, it's a long road to finals. It can still be done, but historically it's hard. So for me, this game is huge, because if we want to be taken seriously, you knock teams like this aside.
Yeah.
You can lose to Richmond and play finals. You can lose to Richmond and win a flag.
Yeah.
But the
team you're looking, let's be honest, I think the general consensus is out of the top 8 from 2020, I think most people, if they were asked, who do you see dropping out? Collingwood is probably the one that gets spoken about the most. And you're right. It's about beating the team you want to replace, but also it's about us. Like, when is it going to happen? When are we going to be winning these types of games? You know,
it's huge. Thursday night footy, home of footy against these mouths. It can't keep happening. I mean, you've got people sending you DMs going, oh, it's Cowan's grand final. We had that joke last week. I mean, these guys are recycling their own tosh.
Yeah.
Man, please, heaven's sake, Doc, Crips, if you're listening, smash these mugs. I'm sick of them. Because it'd be great, because the silence from Collingwood is amazing when they're upset.
Absolutely.
I mean, Eddie Maguire did his best to shut them up over the off-season. Now they're piping up again. Let's put them back in the box and move on with our lives.
I agree. Let's get through some comments. Adonis Destunis says, last week's game will be defined by this week's effort against the Collie Wobbles. If we can't beat him, we're done. No finals. Peter V says he remembers wiping the smug off Joffa's face. Wildy says, bragging rights with the most wins against the other for the winner. Someone here says, Fev snagging 15 against the Pies in 2008. We won 2 out of 2. I remember that. I definitely remember that. Julian Vig. Feral fans talking shit every week. Their existence is enough to make me hate them. I hope we fucking smash them. I hate them. I want Harry to go right through one of them like he did Flostone. Love it. Riley. Murph giving those flogs the finger is a solid one for mine. Fev kicking them in the guts in 2008 single-handedly, but my favourite memory is the one coming when we flog them this Thursday. That's comment of the night right there. There it is. That's brilliant by Riley. That is brilliant.
Oh, spot on. I mean, I'll give their fan base one thing. They bring a bit of soccer to it. It's great getting stuck into
fair
this.
play. Yeah, fair play to the banter. I love Swoop Luke.
Like
the banter this
abuse.
week is just fun.
I love the abuse. Like last year, some of the things that fill my inbox might have sent some people to a shrink, but I love it because this is what sport's about. You've got to hate each other.
Yeah,
you've got to hate each other. No point being nice and saying, "Oh, I hope you do well." And that's what upsets me about Richmond. That's what probably upset me the most when I've got members of their cheer squad saying, "You'll do well this year." Don't want to hear that from my rivals.
Mm-hmm.
I want them to revel in my misery.
I don't want to hear the pity. Oh, but you guys are doing well. You're going to be okay. I don't want that.
I think that's the biggest disrespect to this.
100%.
That, we do well.
Yeah. Oh, you played well. You're going to be okay. I don't want to hear any of that.
I want them to enjoy it because that makes it sweeter for us when we take it because that's how we're going to do it. But Cripper's wrong when he says we've got to earn the respect. You'd never earn respect in this life. You take it. You take it. You see what you want and you take it. In sport, you can't be given it. You have to take it. Richmond, they took it. They were laughing stock.
Is that
2016.
not earning it though by taking it?
Oh, they took it. They smashed you in the mouth, didn't they? They smashed the AFL in the mouth. Adelaide by 100 points. People saying Dimmer needs to go. And they came back with a bang. We've got to come back with a bang. And it starts Thursday night. The talk is cheap. Smash these Muppets and move on to next week.
Love it. Let's get a little bit more in depth. What's the blueprint? What are the statistical things you're looking at as to how to really beat them and what's standing out to you?
I don't know if you've got it on the screen. You probably haven't, so I'll read it out. But we've got the blueprint. So what we've done is we've taken AFL works in 2-year cycles. We've looked at what has beaten their system. So Collingwood, we know they're very structural based, very systematic. Their lines are very perpendicular. They're very hard to break down. One of the big things for me is their stoppage clearances. Sides traditionally go up. Now, that is good for us because Teague dominates stoppage clearances. 27 is the average to beat Collingwood. Ours is just over 27. So that is where Zach Williams comes into it. This guy, when he's played midfield, is a stoppage clearance king. It's something that he specialises in. And that is an area that you really harm them. Another area that's a concern for us is tackle inside 50s. You lock them away. You push them back. You force them to kick long. We saw it in the final series last year. Geelong masters of that. Peg them down. That long kick comes. They don't like that long kick down the wing. Pressure forces that in the AFL. We've got to up to about 9 inside 50s, which usually with Teague, we're over 11.5 per game. But based on last week, that 2, if that creeps in, once their young players, their backs get a hand on the ball, Maynard, it's game over. That's who controls the footy. People think Pendlebury controls Collingwood. Watch them. It's their backmen. Maynard particularly, Darcy Moore. They control. Most score launches in the AFL from a backman is Darcy Moore.
Listen.
It's what you got to stop.
I watched them on Friday night. He is something else.
I don't trust him.
He's a problem.
I don't trust a bloke who's got a degree in politics. So we'll be fine.
He's a problem.
He's a problem because he intercepts, he reads the game.
Yeah.
And that would spell disaster to me if Carlton are going to plan on just bombing it to Harry.
Bombing it inside 50, how we've done the last 5 years.
You saw the Dogs did that. They ran out of ideas at times.
Yeah.
And they just bombed it to Norton. And Darcy Moore's like, oh, cheers for 8 intercept marks, just a casual Friday. We've got to make sure that our entries are, watch the Doggies where they did it well. They attack from the wing, they cut into the corridor, and they pincer their back line. And that's what Carlton have got to do. Be reliable. So that's where I'm looking at Mickey Gibbons. I'm looking at your boy Murph. These guys are very clever, but I'm looking at one guy in particular, the return of J-Mart. He knows how to do that. He's very clever at dissecting that forward entry. So really, statistically, we're a big chance. Not much needs to go right for us. We've just got to stick to the T game plan.
Yeah. Let's see what everyone else is saying here. What do we got? Helena, considering my dad goes for the Pies, I watch a fair few of their games. What amazes me about the Pies is they are so bad. They play a bad style, yet they still find a way to win against anyone. Yeah, I think further to that, their team defense is very impressive. Helena, where'd you get your profile photo from? Good chat. Chris, Ed Kerner attack Pendles and win the damn ball out of the middle. Richmond smashed us in the second half for clearances. Good point. Good segue. Who are we tagging, if anyone? Is it a De Goey? Is it a Moore? Is it a Pendlebury? What's the move?
I think the thing is, if you watch Collingwood, how they do it is they always are going to have an advantage in the centre clearances because they've got Grundy. Grundy hits very cleverly. They know how to run to him. He's a physical presence. He's very good. That's why teams drop down. 13 centre clearances on average they concede. Collingwood in a defeat is laughable because most teams average about 20 lost. But that's how their strength is also their weakness. Go back and watch Collingwood versus GWS. Zach Williams is very proficient at reading from the ruckman's hands. That's how you do it. You've got to shark their rucks. So he's spot on. Centre clearances are a standing for Collingwood, but Collingwood's ability, as Helena says, they play a negative game style almost, but it's their structural prowess makes them hard to break down. Yeah. They're very disciplined. They don't move very much from their positions. You've got to make them. So teams have to play that fast brand we do and put pressure on them. You're looking at Adam Sard to break lines, force that forward line to cave in, the midfield to come up to stop that run. That's how you beat them. So we've got the tools.
Absolutely, we do. No, we sure do. Changes from round one. What are yours and what are yours? Tell me in the comments.
J-Mart would be coming back for probably Lockie O'Brien. I hate to do it, but yeah, he'd have to. And I would say Zach Williams in for J-Sauce. Yep. And
so just on Jack Silvani, while you're there, we got some good news. Yes, so there was a subluxation of the shoulder. It's come out. It's gone back in. He doesn't need surgery. He could be playing as early as next week, which is mind-boggling to me.
But great news. Is
that the word?
I'm very impressed. I don't even know what that means. But yeah, okay.
I pretended like I knew what the word was.
You've convinced me.
Yeah, so he's going to be back sooner rather than later. So that's great news. But yeah, Jack Martin available to play. So you're just making the two?
Yeah, I can't see making wholesale changes. I don't see the point. I think you've got to reward endeavour and look at the weaknesses that we had. I think them to stop them weaknesses. So for me, that's if I was picking the team, I might make some more changes, but that's realistically what I'd like to see. And I think they deserve a second crack.
Yeah,
I think they deserve a chance to redeem themselves.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, Lockie probably played because Zach was suspended. So it wasn't like he had, not that he hasn't earned the spot because he was obviously next in line, but Zach Williams is we need him in this side.
Oh, I mean,
two guys in Williams and Martin that can bring grunt and class in the same game are crucial.
And Zach Williams as well is a great player against Collingwood. That's where he's traditionally played more games in midfield against these guys than anyone else. His numbers are stellar, 22 touches, 3 marks, 5 tackles. He knows how to play this side. This is one of his strong sides. So Williams is almost he's a Carlton fan. We know it.
Yeah.
He knows this rivalry. He owes us for last week. I'd imagine Zach Williams takes it personally.
Yes.
He probably watched that and thought, that last 5 minutes and thought, if only I was there. And I hope he does take it personally a little bit, because that means we're going to see what got him suspended, but hopefully in a positive way where he goes, I'm going to impact the game this way.
Yeah. I hope so. I hope so too. Simon Joyce is asking, what does Matt Kennedy have to do to get a game? Is he in your calculations this week?
I think, do you remember Cam Paulson had them pictures? Ask for them pictures.
Yeah.
Matt Kennedy's a weird one for me because I love Matt Kennedy, but I understood why he didn't play against Richmond. The guy is slower than my nan.
Yeah.
And you can't go too slow against Richmond. And I thought Ed Kerner and Mark Murphy, their slowness at times was exploited by Richmond in them key areas. And I think Matt Kennedy, you're going to have to replace a slow player. So for me, Matt Kennedy plays for another slow player. Nowadays, centre clearances aren't big bodies. You look at all the modern day midfielders, they're like Jack Steele. He's got a bit about him. He's got a bit of skill. He's got a bit of pace. He's not the fastest, but he's quicker than the average bear. So Kennedy, for me to play, has to play for that slot. I don't mind the idea of him playing instead of a third tall in lieu of it and rotating through the midfield with Jack Martin, because Jack Martin plays that third tall.
Yes.
So, but I don't know how he gets in the team. For me, It feels like we don't rate him as a club.
Yeah.
And I don't know why. I don't know why, because last year he was brilliant.
Look, it's going to be good this year in the sense of we're going to be able to watch him in the reserves, something we weren't able to do in 2020. And we'll be able to bring that, I'll be bringing that content, those reviews on the channel. So we'll have the ability to watch him and see what is he doing right, what's he doing wrong, because he's a weird one. He seems to be just on the cusp always.
He's like the perfect 23rd man, isn't he?
Yeah, well, that was the next question. Who's the sub? Do you keep it as Oscar McDonald and name the 22 from last week minus?
I didn't like a tall forward, a key position player as your sub.
As your sub?
I think you've got to have, and I wouldn't use him, but someone like Jack Martin as a sub who can play every position on the field. So Kennedy for me would probably be the closest we've got in the reses that can play all across. I'd be happy to fill a job all across the lines and have someone that you could switch out into the back line.
Cunningham. There's a couple of names I want to go through.
It's so tough now.
Where's he at?
How good is it?
Why is he not in the mix? Where's he at?
Oh, Connors is a tough one, isn't he?
Is it a fair question?
He's got ceiling. He's got ceiling, but the problem is the basement is horrendous as well.
Mate, he's on level 1 of 26, and he hasn't.
I think for me, he's got to do a Gibbons. He's got to go to the VFL and me go, why is he not in? 22 touches, 3 goals.
Yeah.
Sort it out, Carlton. Because at the moment, I think Gibbons does a better job. I trust Gibbons more.
Yeah.
Because Gibbons is going to give you 6 out of 10. He might not give you 10, like Kenneth Cunningham can, but he's always going to give you 6 as he's low. Tough. It's so hard. How good is that?
What about Eddie Betts? Is he ready to play in front of a crowd? Because what I'm looking at with this game, there's a few elements here. Obviously, it's a Carlton home game, so we're going to have more of our fans there than the Collingwood fans, and that gives us a bit of an advantage. The players have made it abundantly clear that the crowd give them that little bit extra. So that's a challenge to us, those of us that are going, and I implore absolutely all of us to get a ticket if you can, obviously. So big crowd, big noise, extra loud for the Carlton side of things. Is that the perfect storm for an Eddie Betts display?
No, I totally forgot about Eddie. And now you say him, yeah, I'd probably try and find a way of slotting him in.
Because when he gets the ball, there's going to be the hum around the ground.
2 goals a game as well against Collingwood. So he knows.
Well, he averages.
Yeah, he knows how to play Collingwood, doesn't he? He's a thorn in their side. Yeah, definitely. I mean, I hate to do it because I feel like, Pom, you've always said sentiment doesn't belong in football. And now I'm going to go on the sentiment train. Because I love it.
Oh, now you want to be sentimental.
Because I'm a big hypocrite.
You royal melt.
What a melt Pom is. I can see it. It's set up, isn't it? Eddie, the crowd, MCG.
Yeah.
4 goals. If Eddie makes the starting sheet, I'm going to throw some money on Eddie for 4 goals.
Okay.
Get in, Eds.
You guys at home, yes or no? Does Eddie Betts play this week? See what you think. I think Chris has said yes here.
Just so you
Jocko says, we have to turn out as fans. Can't be like North Melbourne and have 20K crowd. Get behind the boys. I was there watching that North Melbourne Port game. Thought I'd support North Melbourne and help fill the stadium. Didn't work.
What was it like?
It was dead. Honestly, I'm grateful to be a Carlton supporter for many reasons, and the crowd on Sunday was one of them because
I remember going to
It's a vibe. A Carlton game is a vibe.
I remember when we went to that. So who was it? North and who was it? We were sat behind the North cheer squad. Don't you remember? I can't remember who we went to go and see last year.
I can't remember.
North.
The
year before, North versus someone. I think it was West Coast. Oh, no, it was St Kilda.
Yes.
St Kilda. And honestly, we were sat behind the North cheer squad. And honestly, I made more happy sounds at my nan's funeral than they did. Like, honestly, that is a proper mortuary.
Yeah. A few mixed reactions here to Eddie Betts. Jess says the new 3 amigos in Betts, Martin, Williams. All of a sudden, SPS has been eliminated from there. But I have another prospect for you. I don't know if it's something for round 2 or just something for the long term of the season. Does SPS need to go where Murphy goes and play that half forward, have the dinky short little kicks inside 50?
I like the idea.
Because remember when we beat them last? It was the SPS half forward flank show.
I like the idea. I just feel like shopping and changing him all the time. Like,
fair.
Can we just find a position?
Fair enough.
Like, I'm still not convinced in the back line at all.
You're right.
But
we can't change it.
Carlton are. And that's all that matters, really. but I'm not a fan of him in the back line. Like, you can't tell me that if you had a Marchbank or a Newman, you wouldn't prefer to see him there at the moment.
Yeah.
He gives me something, but it's not enough of what he gives me. And I think he's too far behind the ball. I understand Teague's logic, but I don't like it.
There was a particular moment where he went up for a contest off 2 feet. For me, I pick up on little things, and maybe he didn't do it every contest, but jumping off 2 feet the way he did in that contest, just not a natural. It's not a natural instinct, and I just feel like we've lost his natural instinct.
I feel like when he jumps as well, he gets smaller, which is hard. It's a rare gift. I watch him and I just think he reminds me of Dow last year. He's a guy that you see Dow this year. There's an improvement and there's a smile and an enjoyment.
Yeah,
and it feels like SPS is at work.
Yeah.
And players like that can't.
It's a grind.
Like that.
It's a drag.
I don't like to see it. Like Dow, there's something about him. He's got that thing again. It looks like he's Paddy Dow, 13 years old, playing footy with his dad again.
Yep.
You see that smile and enjoyment, and it makes me happy. SPS feels now like he's been in the same job 5 years, and he's like, oh my God, I've become that 50-year-old. He used to say to me, this could be you someday. I'm now that guy. And I feel we need to get his enjoyment back.
Yeah.
I just don't think he's going to get it back there.
He's got to earn it back.
I look at the Doggies game, when he was in the midfield, watch the mannerisms, the excitement, the instinct.
I know,
happiness.
but that was one game.
It was one game, but I feel that's where we need to get him back into that mindset of enjoying it. It now looks like he's playing not to make a mistake.
Yep.
And against the Dogs, he was playing to change the game.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's move on. We'll open it up to the fans just for some Q&A. Just get a few questions going. Someone's asking here, is McGovern a consideration? Well, he's not available this week. The Carlton medical report came out. He'll be available to play next week. I feel like he's got to come through the twos. And we've learnt the mistake with Mitch McGovern over the last 2 years, getting him fit and rushing him back into the ones. There's no reason why he can't just play a game in the twos, get fit, get confident, be sure that he's ready, because it's a hamstring back issue. It's very low key from the club as per usual with injuries, but
I think if we want to play this 3-toll system or 2-toll system or whatever system Teague is trying to indoctrinate, I think Oscar McDonald in his last 2 games has shown he's more than serviceable. So it means to me now Mitch McGovern isn't needed, isn't essential. So spot on. I think the VFL needs to be used as it is and meant to be used for. You earn your spot. And if Mitch McGovern goes down, it's a long season.
Yeah.
I wouldn't really trust Oscar to keep this form up because he's never done it before.
Correct.
And there's going to be a time where he's going to have his obligatory 0-goal game and Carlton fans. And I'm the worst, going, oh my God, it's happened again.
Yeah.
Someone else is cast off. When are we going to learn? So we've got to be mindful of that. So yeah, definitely for me, I want to see all these superstars go through a period of you earn your place back. You earn your spot back. It's not given.
Has to be that way.
And Mitch, I mean, yeah, I love Mitch.
Well,
but I worry.
I still stand by we're a better team when he's playing. I still stand by that. We're just not a $700,000 better team than when he plays. That's all.
To quote Teague, it's the things he does for us structurally. Remember that. I don't even know what that means, but he sounds good.
Adonis says, Gov cannot be handed games anymore. Earn your spot, man, through the twos. That said, Teague loves him, so he'll come straight back in when he's fit.
I love Carlton's sarcasm.
Edward Wong, Liam Stocker, what is going on? Where would he fit into the mix?
Ed's natural replacement.
Is this? Yeah, I feel like there's something bubbling here with the Ed Curnow conversation. But how can you drop him? He's one of the few that really lifted last week against the Tigers when the whips were cracking.
Definitely. I mean, that's what he does. He brings that. I think there will be a mindset, though, that if you do watch him pace-wise, he's starting to get burnt. He's got the ability to run all day, but it's that initial first 5 steps, which you did see if you watched the first couple of quarters back. Richmond danced around him, which is a shame because if he doesn't stick his tackle, it's there. So that'll be in the mindset if I was Teague of I'm going to have to sort that out sooner because he ain't getting any younger. So Stocker's definitely, for me, he's one guy that I am eager for VFL season to start and play week because he's a guy I'm looking for 22 touches every week, 5 tackles, 6 or 7 clearances, and really banging that door down because he's a talent, Liam Stocker. He's a very good player.
Yeah.
And he's got all the skills. Kicks the
He's
ball
got the
well.
intelligence too.
Footy IQ. He's now got that in vogue long hair.
Yeah.
Froth in the hair.
Yeah.
I love it. So, yeah, Stocker's someone that has got to be in that question sooner rather than later.
Yep, I'm with you. I'm with you on that. Where are we? What else have we got here? People asking about Kennedy. We've touched on Kennedy. Neck minute. Is there Blue Abroad merch available soon? Soon. That's what I'll say about that. I think that'll do it.
Got to get the jumper shirt combo going.
The jumper shirt.
I'm rating that lot.
You like
got the Tommy Hill
You
figure.
like the sweater? Yeah, this is my Melbourne boy uniform.
Yeah, he's
wearing the brands.
He's just come from a yacht club.
Yeah, white boy fitting in with the Western world.
Terry went and played tennis for the first time in ages last week, and look at what's happened to him. Look, there's like one game of tennis, boys.
Oh no, this guy. Anyway, ladies and gents, let's leave it there. We're pumped. It's Collingwood week. It's round 2. It's make or break. Give us a final prediction before we go.
Carlton by 37.
Carlton by 37. What?
Yeah, like 37, like 7 goals.
Okay. Love it. Love it. You guys at home, what's your prediction? I'm gonna say it's gonna be a close encounter. We're gonna be at that moment again where it's tight with 5 minutes to go, and I think we're going to do it. We're finally gonna do it, and then we'll end up winning by 9 points.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to getting stuck in to old shit tats himself, Swoop Luke. Get a big dog up your swoop.
Get a big dog up your swoop. No one puts bumper stickers on a Bentley, mate. Goodness me.
Yeah, Jesus. Yeah, and you little soppy little, I'm opening my membership pack. Sort your life out.
Before I go, I want to get everyone else a bit of a shout out here. Why do I like says Carlton by 34.
I love it.
Terry K. Baggers by 15. James has us by 25. It's all Carlton. Look at this. It's literally all Carlton. Oh,
it's going to be a huge blue wave, mate.
Nothing biased about what I'm seeing right here. Rocco says 65 points. Can you imagine beating them by 10 goals Thursday night? Oh,
Rocco needs to send a message to Swoop Luke that if Carlton win by 60, he needs to go to England.
Love
because
it.
I'll find him.
Love it. Murph to kick 3 from Shannon. That'll be the last comment I put up there. Ladies and gents, thanks for joining us. I hope you have a great week. Jumper punch tomorrow with Pom and Rocco. Tomorrow morning, 10 a.m., we've got the Almost Blues Brothers podcast out. Joe and Dan and Jules are up and about this week. And then Wednesday night, we've got the live show with Harrison and Jed, the Blues Footy podcast boys. So stay tuned to the Blue Abroad YouTube channel and have a great night and go the Mighty Blues.